Welcome back to Sledgehammer Horror, guys. I am Ken Sledge.
And I'm Ashley Sledge.
And let's talk horror.
So today we're going to do our top 10 PG-13 horror.
Now, unfortunately, because we're doing PG-13, this list will not include movies like Poltergeist. It will not include movies like Jaws. Even though those are two fantastic movies, they are PG. They are not PG-13. So you want to get us started off at number 10?
Sure. Our number 10 is A Quiet Place. This is a scary movie. Honestly, sometimes you are like, are these really only PG-13? And I feel like this is kind of one of them. It's got a lot of emotion, and just the thought of it is a very scary concept.
It's terrifying, but they purposely left a lot of it vague so that you didn't get scared enough to make it rated R, bloody or gory enough. Mm-hmm. The next one is The Exorcism of Emily Rose. This movie, when it came out, I was like, yeah, it was all right. It was okay. And the older I've gotten, the more I've just been like, this movie is terrifying. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a police procedural. You got a lot of that. But
just the way they go back and just the things that you find out, and you're just like on the edge of your seat the entire time.
Yeah. And the fact that there's one cut of the movie where she makes a face that is so grotesque, they were going to give it an R rating. And so they cut that scene. They fought hard to keep that scene in, but they had to cut the scene because it was going to get an R rating if they kept that scene in. And I really want to see what that looked like.
She did a phenomenal job making this
as
scary as it was. Number 8 is What Lies Beneath. And again, this is a movie that it's like you didn't see it coming. Like the ending, the twist, you didn't really see that coming as much. And it just, there's so many things that were put into it that I think could have, caused it to be higher than PG.
It's very, very real life horror. And the twist that comes along with it and the things, like I said, one of the best bathroom scenes of all time, up there with Psycho as well. Mm-hmm. Number 7, we have M. Night Shyamalan's The Visit. Again, there's no blood, there's no gore, but there's the genuine scare of what's going on.
Yeah. When the twist happened the first time,
it blows you away.
It does. I had goosebumps. Like, oh, that's really scary the first time I watched it.
And then the diaper scene.
Yeah.
The diaper scene made me want to die.
Yeah.
It just really, really fucked me up.
Or when the grandma is like running after them underneath
the house.
The house playing hide and go seek.
Yeah.
Terrifying. Like, what's going on with Granny?
Right.
So number 6 is The Ring. And funny enough, I talked about this is one of the most traumatizing movies that I ever seen as a kid. I literally had to sleep on the floor in my dad's room because he took me to see it, and I was terrified. And I was like, I'm not sleeping downstairs by myself. That's what this PG-13 movie did to me. Mm-hmm. And when they switched to her face in the closet, it scarred me as a kid.
Yeah, it was a great theater experience. And now if we were doing our top 10 scariest PG-13 horror movies, this would be number 1.
Oh, yeah.
Right now we're just ranking by our opinions on which ones are our favorites. Coming in at number 5, this could have been the first or the second, but because of the blast of emotion, no pun intended, we get from part 2, we're going to go with Happy Death Day to You. The first movie is probably the better film, and I'll give you that. It probably is the better film. But the timeline jumps with the mom, and that just puts this movie as a special spot for me. And I love this movie. I think Happy Death Day to You was great. I love Happy Death Day as well. Mm-hmm. But the stuff they did with the family really put this above that one, in my opinion. The emotion they did with that is just so beautiful and so hard to replicate in a film. And to give you that genuine feel of, yeah, I love you. Mm-hmm. And I just want you to know that. Is such a special scene to me.
Yeah, absolutely. And it is one of the better sequels to a movie. Mm-hmm. That would be on another list for best sequels.
Right.
So number 4, we have Megan. And I know that a lot of people feel like Megan was toned down a little bit. Wasn't really as scary, or like a lot of the kills were off screen. You didn't really get to see much blood or the kills. But still, the concept is great. Megan, I think, is a terrifying idea. This
especially with all the AI that we use in our lives,
taking over, and again, like this possessive type doll. She's possessive. It's a terrifying thought. And I really enjoyed Megan. I thought it was very entertaining. I would have loved to see more on-screen kills, but then again, it probably wouldn't have been PG-13.
And again, some of these movies like Megan do have an unrated cut. We're not talking about those. Obviously, we're talking about the PG-13 film. So, and again, Megan, we talk about Amy Donald, who played Megan, and she is amazing. Amazing. When you also have Violet McGraw and the stuff with, I don't ever want to forget my parents.
Well, you have two very young girls
Carry
holding
the whole
up
movie.
this movie.
Yeah.
And that is amazing to me.
And again, the whole cast of this movie is awesome. Awesome cast. But those two really do hold the movie up. Number 3 is Devil. M. Night Shyamalan produced this movie. And, man, the first time we seen this movie, the double twist in this movie, the two different twists that you get, really did get me. Because I love when I'm shocked. It's kind of obvious who the devil is. But the twist outside the elevator, I'm so sorry. That was brilliant.
Yeah.
That was so good.
That was
I remember
another one to bring in that emotion, and it's just like, oh.
And when you're watching it, and you're just like, no way did that just fucking happen. And then the guy's like, we have a reason. There's a reason it's us that's watching this. And then when he says, I'm so sorry, he's looking behind, he looks over at the detective like, look who was right on this one. So great movie, fantastic concept. It would be number 1 if the two above it weren't as good as they are.
Right. Number 2, so we couldn't talk about the OG Poltergeist because it was only PG, but we can talk about Poltergeist 3 because that was PG-13. They finally started putting the actual PG,
Yeah, they started making movies PG-13 at this time.
So this movie, again, it gets a lot of crap. The ending isn't the greatest. We've talked about this a million times, how it's our favorite in the franchise. But I love it, and I think that it's terrifying what they do with the mirrors, and you're looking at a mirror, but your reflection is doing something else. Is terrifying to me, and
always been a scary thing for us.
And it does suck what happened, and how they had to end it. I wish that it could have been a different way, but it wasn't, and so they did what they could to get this movie done. And
we're not going to go too deep into this.
No.
This could be a whole video, but the studio told them they had to finish the film. Nobody wanted to finish the film.
Yeah.
So as a big fuck you to the studio, they threw a shitty ending on it. We all wish it wouldn't have happened that way, but a human life is more important,
Right.
and the studio didn't understand that.
And you can't take away from the rest of the movie because of that ending.
Right.
Because the rest of the movie is fantastic, and it's creepy, and yeah.
Yeah. I love this movie. Number 1, one of the greatest jump scares of all time as well. We got Insidious.
Yes.
This movie, this and The Conjuring.
They
brought
definitely
in,
came around a time when horror really needed something to freshen up the genre.
And these movies just absolutely came in and rocked it. And this movie to me is just so good. We talk about the jump scare. Which the demon face jump scare is a great jump scare. But I also like the one when they're in the hallway and he's flipping through that thing.
Oh, yeah.
And then all of a sudden the girls are there and they do that smile. I love that.
It's awesome. It's just like the little, the sound design of it.
Yeah.
It just makes it completely more creepy.
And he's using a child's toy. Those things we used to play with those clicker things.
Innocence.
Yeah, and for that to happen. And obviously, Elise, Lynn Shay is just...
They definitely kicked themselves in the ass for killing her off. Because when have you ever seen a franchise where they kill someone off and then she's in the rest of the entire...
whole franchise.
They find a way to bring her back. They're like, we got to write a movie around her because everybody loves her. Yes.
After that. And then even all 4 after that. You have 1 and then you have 2 through 5 all include Elise in some way. And... it's just like Patrick Wilson's performance in this movie is so good. It only gets better in part 2.
Yes.
It's just, this is a movie that I feel like everybody knows Tiny Tim because of this movie. You know, and the little boy dancing in front of the radio.
I don't think you can ever listen to Tiny Tim the same and not feel like that creepy.
Like you're watching Insidious.
Yeah.
So let us know down in the comments, guys. What are some of your favorite PG-13 horror movies? What are some movies that we missed that we didn't have on here? And what are some of the movies that you love that are on our list? We would love to have your opinions. And if you haven't already, please like, comment, and subscribe. It helps to build the channel more than you know. And follow Sledgehammer Horror on social media. Our links are in the description as well. But until next time, keep talking horror.
Stay who you are.
And we'll see you guys soon.
Bye, guys.